Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, and intuitive astrologer. And I'm here with this week, January 12th, 2021, Pick an Angel card reading. This is an interactive experience so that you, the audience, can start to build your intuition, allow yourself to take a minute to breathe and decide which of the following 5 spreads would be most appropriate for you. And then you can click on the timestamp and go directly to the reading. But before I start, I just want to let you know that I am doing a weekly special. It's an astrology reading. It's about 20 minutes to a half hour recorded reading based on your nodes, South Node and North Node. It's a past life reading. And what it will do is reflect what your soul has in some ways experienced in a past life or in many past lives, and what you've brought into this life and agreed to work on, what you're stretching for. So if you're interested in that, please feel free to go to my website and send me an email and I'll let you know. This month only, I'm offering it for $20 off. So let me know. Anyway, all right, let's go into our readings. Let's start with card reading, angel reading number 1. I'm going to start off with an overview card. That's with my Kyle Gray deck, Angels and Ancestors. And for those of you that picked angel reading number 1, you got the Fire Guardian. And it says, ignite your passion. This is very interesting to me because his position is feels very much like he's playing with energy, like he's tuning into some sort of place outside of himself, an inspiration. This is a card I'm not as familiar with as the others. And I think the triangle is very, very powerful because it almost feels like igniting your passion is also connecting with spirit, the trilogy, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, and also the power which is within your own hands. And I think that the wings here represent a need to be flexible during the process. Because at this time, in this place in the world, to ignite our passions is really the spark of that passion, that creativity, that idea. And then we'll go in to see how we implement that. In the foundational position is Maya, the angel of schooling and education, and the novice, the energy of the beginner. In the opportunity, the obstacle, we have Seraphina, the angel of happy families, and the frog, which represents the cleaning of one's house. In the angel's advice, we have Fiona, the angel of, in some ways, surrender and be open to receiving, the angel that represents the law of allowing, and the trust card. And then we have the risk card and crystal. So let me start from the beginning. In the foundational position, for those of you that picked angel reading number 1, Maya is a card of schooling and education. We are this week experiencing many astrological dynamics, one of them being a new moon. And I think that for those of you that picked angel reading number 1, you're going to learn something through a new beginning. And part of your job is to be open up to that new beginning, to allow yourself to leapfrog into the idea of what would make your family happier, even if you're a family of 1, because then I go back to the fire guardian. This is, again, I want to emphasize the sound guardian, because your ideas and your passions are being protected by spirit if the timing is not exactly right to implement them. So allowing them to percolate, allowing them to marinate, to simmer within your mind is part of how you will feel a happier sense of moving forward, even though it may not be a physical move. And it'll also help you clean up some of the noise in your mind and leapfrog into a place where the angels are asking you to be open to receiving their guidance, that you deserve heaven's help and you will indeed receive inspirations. But part of it is trust. And that trust is being able to sit in the position of the novice, to be curious and yet to be willing to go through the process of learning, of reestablishing what you probably have already known on a soul level, because Crystal is asking you to have faith and hope because there's more on the horizon. And in order for you to truly learn how to embrace this new beginning, as represented by the new moon this week, the new moon in Capricorn, representing the structure of our lives, also representing depression and things that hold us back because we do things in a stoic manner. So you may be learning how to do things from your heart more than you are from your duty. And this is why you are risking that things are going to work out a lot better than you think. And that is what Spirit has to offer you. So for those of you that picked angel reading number 1, this is a week to really allow your heart to lead the way. I don't know if it's about taking physical action unless you are absolutely inspired, and then that is confirmed by Spirit through an experience brought to your door, because that is what Spirit is saying. They're going to bring you something. In the meantime, it's about holding space for this passion that you have. All right, let's go on to angel reading number 2. Our overcard is the stag. The stag is to thrive and trust. This is very much a card of leadership for me. The stag is also in the Avalon deck. It's also a card to me that represents a gentility within that leadership and a gentility within my trust. It sort of feels a little bit like I can imagine that as the winter comes and foliage becomes more sparse and harder to find, the deer must trust a certain instinct it has within it and follow that instinct as its lead. And this is where I think that this is so powerful. For those of you that picked angel reading number 2. And I can't help but notice the 3 circles here that seem to indicate a spiral, which means that things are secular. And the 3 to me really right now is resonating as the Trinity, as the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. So as I trust in a bigger path and then connect with and allow myself to thrive. In the foundational position, we have Azure saying your desired outcome will happen in the near future. And then we have the stag I referred to earlier in the reading. So this is extremely powerful energy for you right now. Those of you that picked angel reading number 2. There we are in a new moon cycle. It is in the sign of Capricorn, which represents structure, and it is adjacent to the planet of destruction, the planet of birth and death. And I believe that in order for a birth to come, sometimes there must be a death of something. And that death feels like it's a lack of trust. And knowing that my desired outcome is where I sit in leadership for myself and for other humans by trusting Spirit having my back. And that will be evidenced in the opportunity, the obstacle. We have Francesca saying there is movement in how you are paying attention to your own focus and how you are seeing that negativity and concern are 2 different things. It is wise to contemplate a situation and to look at the various angles, and then a focus on something becomes a manifester. It triggers the law of attraction. So for those of you that picked angel reading number 2, I believe that you're seeing movement in your life because you're paying attention to your focus. And the angels are advising you that you will win as you are paying attention to your perceptions, your focus. There's victory. Keep up the good work. And then in the final position, we have the Truth card and we have Celeste. I want to just tell you, I'm not looking at these cards ahead of time. They're all face down and I'm pulling them and showing them to you as I'm reading them. So for those of you that picked angel reading number 2, I feel there's going to be a very strong shift in the way you perceive things. Celeste represents a new home or a new place of employment, ushering in new happiness. To me, that could be very true. But what I think and how I believe and what my thought process, it happens wherever I am in the world. So you can put me in a new situation, but I will only thrive if my mind shifts into a belief about that situation and it thriving for me. So it very much, this is an opportunity for you to see how you think, not to judge how you think, but to observe it in a way as a piece of information. And then as you move into the thought process of what you want to experience, and then go into that surrender to God and the angels and say, thank you for not only bringing me experiences to support my belief, but to also anchor it in so that I can then share that vibration with others. All right, that's fabulous for those of you that picked angel reading number 2. Let's go on to angel reading number 3. We pulled the High Priestess. And this is very interesting to me because she talks about harnessing your mystic power. And to me, I also very much focused in on the cat immediately, and the cat being something that is extremely independent in its thought. It does not follow weakness in some ways. It follows the energy of exchange. A cat wants to be respected, and it trusts its instincts and doesn't stick around to find out if it was right or wrong. So in some ways, that is what I think this is representing for those of you that picked angel reading number 3, is to truly stand in the strength of your own intuitions. And here we go. That may be a bit of a burden, because here's Vanessa asking you to have faith over fear. These astrological dynamics, and we have this new moon happening today or tomorrow, depending upon where you are in the world. I'm in the USA, so it'll be tomorrow for me. It's rubbing up against Pluto, and I believe that this is stoking fears and stoking a real challenge in believing that my fears aren't completely valid and that I need to put a lot of attention on them, because in my opportunity or my obstacle is the High Priestess. And right now the obstacle is checking into a deeper knowing within myself. And yet when I do that, Aurora says, you're flying high right now. Don't descend, because you will soon inspire others by breaking the box of thought in a way. I want to put it this way. For those that picked angel reading number 3, this thought process feels a little almost obsessive, and Pluto is obsessive. So it would be a dynamic where you're validating the darker side of a situation rather than giving life to the idea that it could shift. In the angel's advice, we have the focus card and we have a stare at. So that just confirms to me, it's very important to watch your focus and to reach for the stars. Reach to your guides and your angels to anchor in your faith when it is now a burden to you, because your faith is truly what you are born of. It is your faith is your light. Your faith is your energy. Your faith is the soul knowing that the experience never stops, that it's a series of choices, and it's a series of experiences and a willingness to go into the darkness so that you can experience the light in this dense energy, which makes it much more, it's exciting. It's exciting to do something that you don't think you can do. And that's what happens when you're in the human body. When you're in your soul body, it's more obvious that you will achieve. So in the final position, for those of you that picked angel reading number 3, you have Zana, the angel of protection, and the water fairy. As you recognize the burden of your own faith right now and ask spirit to eclipse that fear with your faith, because you know that there is something here and you're breaking the box by going to an intuition rather than going into what's in your bank account, what's in your gas tank, what's in your physical experience. Then you're going to start to see how your focus turns things around and spirit aligns with that, and you will feel protected both physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and in trusting your intuitions. All right, let's go on to angel reading number 4. I pulled the sun in joy, success, and happiness. This is a very bright, very happy, very joyful, very Leo-esque energy. Leo is ruled by the sun. So those of you that picked angel reading number 4, I almost would charge you to listen to the Beatles' Here Comes the Sun, and go follow the sun. And I want you to know that in the foundational position, as you follow the sun inside of you, the sun Also in Leo represents the heart, and the heart is your light. So your light is being protected. This is a time when we need to be able to see beyond our eyes and beyond our ears. The world stage is going to tell us that things are very, very unsure and unsettled. And this is an opportunity for those of you who picked angel reading number 4 to have victory over your mind, over the media, over the things that are coming to you and the stimulus that's coming over to you versus what you know on the inside, that you can thrive even in challenging times. This is a matter of a personal intention of walking through the storm versus giving in to the storm and surrendering and crawling in a hole and dying. Because Mystique says to keep charging ahead, to expect miraculous solutions. And the angels are saying that there will be an abundance. You will actually learn to thrive over this frustrating period in time. It's easy to sit in frustration and to be angry and to look at the imbalance in the world right now and the imbalance in our lives, but it really isn't going to serve in the long run. So seeking out the joy, seeking out what your heart likes, and this is even something as frivolous as hobbies and going on a media diet, because in the final position is the ego card and Daniel. And Daniel talks about partnership, he talks about marriage, but he talks about history and the history we have in certain relationships. And for me, this is the history you have with your happiness. And rather than edging God out, this is what the ego does. It edges God out. So I want to offer it this way. This starts off sort of warm and fuzzy, and then it gets a little bit challenging. And I think that has something to do with the astrological dynamics that are going on that are creating tension. They're creating obligation. They're creating us to feel nervous and unsure and unsettled. So I really feel like overall what's going on here is Spirit is asking you to work in coordination with your ego, to honor your ego, and then ask your ego to step aside so that Spirit may step through with clear and detailed information for your highest and greatest good. So you can see beyond this small place, meaning this small place known as planet Earth. I know it's huge, but sometimes it has very small perspective, sight. All right, let's go on to angel reading number 5. The Kyle Gray card we pulled is the High Priest, which is fabulous because this is married to the High Priestess we just pulled with the angel reading number 4. To me, this is I'm really pulling in. It says intend and create, and I'm really looking at that falcon. I'm looking at the idea that I'm commanding myself to have the sight of this bird, this bird that has incredible prowess, incredible ability to rise above, swoop down, to get what it wants. That's where I'm really kind of going with that. For some reason, the priest himself is not ringing out to me as strongly as the falcon is. Okay, and in the foundational position, for those of you that picked angel reading number 5, intend and create within your partnerships to be abundant and to have the sight above a situation. I want to offer it this way because we've been going through such troubled times for the last couple of years, and we're not done. We're going through an opportunity. I think the cocoon is breaking, that the butterfly is trying to emerge but is not ready yet. And so it may tend inadvertently to focus in on the things that are not working. So as we take the High Priest's energy to intend to and to create, I don't think it's about creating money, even though this is a card of abundance. I think it's about creating ease in my partnerships with life. Ease as I say, I intend to look at the bright side, or I intend to see what's working instead of what's not working. In the opportunity or the obstacle is the angel of peace, Shanti, and the swan offering transformation, but not just any sort of transformation, the transformation from the ugly duckling to the swan. This is also an opportunity to garnish more peace by trusting your intuitive gifts, because she is the angel of peace, but whatever is disrupting that peace must move out. And part of what's disrupting that peace is serenity, being in alignment with what you can influence and what you cannot. And being frustrated about what you can't influence is just like spinning, shaking your tail. So what does Spirit want you to do? To do what you find joyful. And in doing so, to connect with Spirit with that, to tell them, to remind them, so you can remind yourself, because your power will come there. And I want to say this as well, that I do think that in this particular case, for those of you that picked angel reading number 5, that this would be a week when exercise and yoga and meditation would be very powerful for you, connecting to that inner peace. I normally see it as connecting with Spirit in such a way that it's my power center, but I actually think this might be about listening. It might be just about concentrating on my breath and thanking Spirit for their inspirations. In the final position, we have the restriction card, and we have Isaiah saying it's time to give birth to new ideas and new situations. I believe that, at least here in the United States, as we enter into the week before our new president's inauguration, we will experience a certain amount of restriction. But I think that restriction can be used for reflection, and that reflection can then go back to sort of how well do I truly surrender to a situation, because I know that it comes in layers. We think we're surrendering to a situation, and yet we're still somehow holding tension or resistance to it. So it's really not about perfecting the idea of recognizing the resistance. It's about working in coordination with your higher self to say, if there's resistance I'm unaware of, thank you for releasing me from it, or making it work for me, for it to really spawn those new ideas, the new birth, because Pluto represents death and rebirth, and Pluto is sitting right next to this new moon. The new moon itself represents a rebirth. It's the sun and the moon coming together to make something new. So over the next few weeks, you may find that your partnership with your intentions and your ability to recognize the timing of creation, that it is a process of inspiration, deliberation, and then execution, and then the cycle starts over. So that's what I have for you for this very, very powerful week. And I'm going to say that a lot, because this next few months has some very, very powerful dynamics sort of that hang over from 2020 to help us anchor in a new world of kindness, a new world of seeing each other from a different place, a place of unity, a place of connection, a place of compassion. So again, my name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, and intuitive astrologer. And if you'd like to book a reading with me, please go to my website. The information is in the description below, and I'll be back next week. Have a great week, everybody. Sending lots of love to you. Peace out.